So I recently got asked this question by an e-commerce brand owner on what was the best approach to follow when you haven't sent a campaign in a long time in order to protect the account's deliverability, to protect the domain's reputation, but then most importantly, to not land in the spam folder. So I thought to myself, why not record a quick video in case I can help any other brand owner with this specific issue, and then if he or she needs it, they can come back to this video. So when I mention a long time, I mean 2 months or more without actually having sent campaigns. Now, we at the agency have nailed this process for our own clients, and here's some proof of it that we know a thing or two about this, where this client of ours hadn't sent a campaign in, let's say, 4 or 5 months, I believe. And after doing the process that I'm about to lay out, we actually achieved these kind of results. So 47, 50, 53% open rates, and then generating 7K, 25K, and 8K, right? So I actually know a thing or two about this. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first thing we have to look at is the size of the list. So ask yourself this question: is your list size smaller than 10K profiles? Okay, so if it's not, then we need to split this list into 10K segments. Now, what do I mean by this? You need to break that list into chunks of 10,000, right? So for example, if you have a list of 50,000 profiles, you need to break that list into 5 different segments of 10,000, right? So 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, and then 10,000, right? So those are 5 segments there. Now, the thing is that when running these campaigns, you need to actually stagger the delivery by sending to one 10K group every 2 days, right? You can't send them all right off the bat, but you have to actually split them throughout the days or weeks. Now, if your list isn't a perfect multiple of 10K, you then need to adjust accordingly. So if, for example, we have a 47,000 person list, we could divide 40,000 people into 4 groups of 10K and then one group of 7,000. So in this case, we usually start by sending the campaign to the lowest list profile count inside of that segment. So in this scenario, it would be the 7,000 group first, and then we continue with the rest on a staggered schedule. All right, so that's what you would do. And then after hitting the whole list, right, so after sending that whole list with that splitting every 2 days, after you hit the whole list, you need to check for engagement. If the open rate is more than 25% or even 30%, I think 30% is more conservative, you then send another campaign, right? But then to the 20K list segment. You then check open rates again, and if it actually maintains in that 30% range, then you need to do that for the 3 campaigns and see that these 3 campaigns that you are sending achieve a consistent 30%. Now, once they do, you can then roll back to the traditional highly engaged segments of last 60, last 90, or last 30-day engaged, right? But it's super important that you get 30% open rates or more back to back with those 3 campaigns, and that's the thing that will signal to you that you can move to a more highly engaged segments. So that is that. And now, what if your list size is smaller than 10K profiles? You then basically just send to the whole list. Again, you check the engagement of this whole list that you sent to, and you send 3 more campaigns to the whole list again to see the engagement that it's getting. Again, if it gets more than 30% open rates on those 3 more in those 3 campaigns back to back, then you can roll back to the traditional highly engaged segments of 30, 60, and 90-day engaged. However, if the open rate is less than 25% for the first 2 campaigns, I suggest that you start using highly engaged segments and suppress the remaining list, right? So highly engaged segments could be 7-day engaged, 14-day engaged, and from there, you actually see how that list reacts to the engagement, right? So yeah, hopefully this video was helpful, and if you have any sort of question, you can reach out to me.